Hello. You can tell by the title of the video what this is, but I wanted to make a Sin guide, the ultimate Sin guide. So, he's pretty different and not too many people are playing him, but I know that I guess he's pretty popular, even though, like I said, he's still not pretty, he doesn't have a huge, player base. I guess there's a lot of tower ones, but no one's really playing him at, the higher levels like that. So I wanted to make a video, ultimately, for every single level of play. It's going to start with, beginner and kind of introduction, and then move our way up to intermediate, and then the more the advanced guide. So I'll try to make this timestamp so you can go to whatever section you feel like you're in. If maybe you're starting in one section and you realize, oh wait, I'm kind of already doing this, then go ahead and move to the next section. No rush to feel like you need to catch up to everyone else. Kind of go at your own pace, and yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna start with introduction, and I believe what you should do for every character to start is get familiar with your buttons. For Sin in particular, so let's get straight into it. So in Sin in particular, like I was saying, P and K normals are not crazy. I've talked about this a bunch, but his 6P is not the greatest when it comes to anti-airing. Very good neutral 6P and good at stuffing pokes. But in terms of opponents that are right above you, I've put the hitbox on the screen before, but it's just not great at dealing with opponents that are above you. And his 5P isn't really a great anti-air 5P as well. It's 6 frames, so 6 frames with this 2P being 5. Both kind of stubby, so he's pretty weak to spacing traps, but that's besides the point. His K normals are not great either. 5K is alright, but it's more of a combo tool more than it is a neutral tool. 2K is alright as well, but nothing crazy. Not like a Happy Chaos 2K or like a Testament 2K or anything like that. His most used normal is going to be his Far Slash, so I would definitely get used to using this normal. It works well in contrast with 2S, which is slower startup, but less recovery. I believe Far Slash is 23, and 2S is either 13 or 16. So it's a good spacing tool. It goes pretty far, has good range. It is not a low, it is a mid. As you can see, Kai is blocking this standing. But yeah, they work well together. His H normals, you will never use these in neutral. These are definitely pressure tools, with 5H being the main one and 2H being the secondary pressure tool, but it's definitely more of a combo tool than it is a pressure tool. Please please do not use these in neutral. Definitely is used to prolong combos. I'll get into how to use these more in pressure, but there is a 1 frame gap from his slash normals to his H normals. So right here, 1 frame gap. So I guess, yeah, is DPable, but yeah. Anyway, let's get into his special moves now. So Sin's specials. Let's start with the obvious one. Okay, so he is a DP. This is Sin. This DP is definitely Sin. I'd say, okay, the 2 moves that are Sin are the Hawkbaker, the DP, and obviously the Beak Driver, which everyone knows. Let's start with the DP. So obviously his invincible reversal, I mean, it's a DP. It goes forward more than other DPs. As you can see, he kind of lunges forward. He rises and then he falls to the ground. It's useful in some situations when they're not ready for it, but the uniqueness off it is if you see the stamina gauge, you can actually cancel off it and maintain and start your pressure off a DP. To be fair, I will get into why this isn't actually great nowadays with how Sin works, but this is an option. I think if you're at this level, kind of the beginner, I think when it comes to stamina, you always will want to do this. Regardless of the level, stamina, how much stamina you have, you always want to do this when you're kind of first getting used to the character. The only advice I do have for the DP is the less you use the DP, the better it is. So just be cautious of how much you use it. Next is also you have this follow-up, but this is more of a combo thing. Then you have the Beak Driver. So, Beak Driver. It is a big poke. So it goes longer. It's longer than Far Slash, which is already a very far-reaching poke. So it's longer than Far Slash, but in return, longer recovery and startup, which it should for how big it is. Huge reward. I mean, if you land it, you can do this, right? The reward off it is huge. Yeah, very good. Very bad hurt box though. I'll put the hurt box on the screen. The hurt box, it loses to a lot of things in neutral, so it kind of makes it a pretty bad neutral tool. I guess it's more matchup specific. It's not great versus a lot of characters, but if you're able to get it and use it wisely, then I do think it can be good in neutral at times. There's other uses for it, more in pressure and obviously extending your combos, but it's not usually like the ideal combo starter for how risky it is to use at times. It's good in frame traps. It is a true string on block, meaning there is no gap from both your H normals. True string, and then obviously it true strings from 6K as well. So yeah, I went over that. Next you have the overhead and the low. So okay, let's talk about hoof stomp. So hoof stomp is the overhead. It works well in line with Elk Hunt, the low, which I was just talking about or just mentioned. Elk Hunt obviously has the guard crush. Before, with playing Sin in the last patch, you'd kind of want to use this in pressure and use this situation to your advantage. But now with Beak Driver kind of filling that gap with less pushback as well, and being with the same frame advantage, which is +6, you want to definitely use Beak Driver more in pressure. Elk Hunt is a good neutral tool, and Sin has a lack. He's very bad at confirming off catching your backdash. So what this means is, for example, if I put Kai to, let me just put him in the backdash. So I do, right? So Sin's not great at catching your backdash, but if he, or confirming off catching your backdash, but if he catches your backdash with something like Elk Hunt, he can actually get a full combo wall stick or super, or whatever you want to do and just break the wall, right? So Elk Hunt is very good. It's one of those things where you want to use it to take up space, kind of like dash at the opponent and make them scared and kind of backdash themselves all the way to the corner. But I wouldn't, it's kind of like DP. The less you use it, the better it is. Very good in pressure, especially versus people that are just preemptively blocking high. It's minus on hit. All of the specials are minus on hit, but Elk Hunt is plus on counter hit to the point where you actually can get a combo if you do. Oops, sorry. Right? And then if they're crouching, then you can do. Right? So it's one of those things where, again, all the specials minus on hit. This is minus on counter hit. This is minus on counter hit. This is plus on counter hit due to having the highest attack level. And then obviously his last one is the DP. If you're at this stage as well, don't worry about Eat. It's useless at this level. It does nothing for you at this level. So I just stick away from using that and more focus on getting comfortable with the special moves like I was saying. Hoof Stomp also is it's the overhead. You get a combo with, if you have 2 stamina. You can choose how much stamina you want to use in that combo after that, whether it's something like this. Oops, sorry, I didn't get my super. Right. So, but yeah, essentially, you can combo off all of his special moves. All of his special moves you can combo off of if you have 2 or more stamina. Except the DP, you can't just do raw DP and get a combo. You have to start from something, whether it's a 2K, 2D, or a close slash. You have to start with something. But even in the corner like this, and even if it's not in the corner, you can do the dash. And so yeah, this combo in the corner, it's different because, like I just showed, off Elk Hunt, you can get the push up and, keep him in the corner and get a combo with 1 stamina. But pretty much everywhere else, you're gonna have to spend 2. And if you want to break the wall, especially from farther away, you're going to have to spend 3 at times, unless you have meter to go into super. But again, like I was saying, at this level, you just want to spend the stamina. Like, don't worry about what you're doing. Get as comfortable as you can with Sin. Blow everything. Think of stamina as a fun meter that you want to use instantly. You want to, unlike Nago, you won't die for spending your resource like constantly, right? There's no, obviously you're weaker, but you're not in a state where you're taking more damage or you're immobile. Instead of being immobile, I guess you're kind of stuck when it comes to doing combos, but if you're at this level, just get used to the character, right? That's truly my advice. Yeah, don't worry about frame traps, frame data, true strings. Just kind of get used to it. No one used the special moves, and yeah. Now, kind of going up to the intermediate level. So when you're at the intermediate level, there's some things you want to know. So basically, let's talk about neutral. So you want to be fine and realize that you're supposed to be losing neutral on Sin. Yes, neutral is hard, and he loses neutral to basically almost every character in the game. His neutral is not good. It is just not. He has high reward for being right on his neutral when he has stamina, but a lot of times his neutral, like excluding the reward, is just bad. You're not winning a lot of neutral interactions. It's not really in your favor a lot of the times. Players will start at this level. Players will start using low profile moves to kind of get to you, and other options to throw you off your game. You want at this level as well. You want to kind of start learning how to do your car cancels, right? Whether it's going to RTL or go into barrel, right? You kind of want to get comfortable doing those. These are good. The idea of how good they are definitely drops off when you reach the advanced level, and I'll get into that later when I do get to that section. But get comfortable doing Karas. You want to kind of start learning how important stamina is at this stage. At this point, like I said, at the beginner level, you want to just spend your stamina. But at this level, you want to at least keep it in the back of your mind a bit. Like, kind of chill. Just chill off it. Realize that you don't need to always go into doing, if you have the stamina, it's not, oh my gosh, I have to use it. For example, situations like this, be comfortable just being here, right? Kind of, that's the first step I would take. Don't always, oh, I have the stamina, all right, we're going, right? Because then you put the cooldown timer back on the stamina, and it takes forever to come back. So just kind of let it come back, don't get the penalty, and just then kind of go to your game plan. This one, you kind of, again, just take the foot off the gas a bit, right? 2H, you can cancel the first hit of both of the H normals into the, specials. Kind of use this to throw off the opponent. Also, you want to use the overhead off stuff that is more ambiguous, kind of harder to react to. So maybe like off 5K or, off 2K, right? Don't always just use it like this into this. Kind of use it like maybe off close slash sometimes, or do this, stuff like that. Be kind of, or delayed buttons into either or is really good, because you kind of throw them off and make them guess what you're gonna do. So you want to learn this safe jump. So you have, you have this safe jump, right? You also have like the FD break safe jump, right? You want to use these, kind of get in the habit of doing them versus, obviously versus DP characters. The FD safe jump is a little harder to get used to. I actually struggle with it sometimes. There's sometimes when I'm playing where I'll just mess it up. I'm like 80% consistent with it in tourney. But when I'm just on my own time, I'm pretty shit at doing it. But that is something to work on for me, I guess, and for, the other people out there as well. So, also at this level, so you want to start getting the habit of using 6K. So, at this level, most people don't really know how to deal with this. You obviously keep your pressure since you're plus, I believe, like +2 or +3, right? Most people don't even know that, and so they just get eaten alive by this. So, this kind of just, this kind of just kills people. 5-frame gap from close slash, very good. Also at this level, you want to start knowing the gaps, or the certain gaps that go into, Sin. There's a 5-frame gap from this 6K. You can also use it like here when they try to mash. Stuff like this kind of works sometimes, right? Especially if they're FDing, right? You can beat like their 6P, or like their mash at certain points like this, and, spacing trap them. It's good. You want to get in the habit of using 6K in your pressure, especially when you're lower in stamina, due to the hits that you're able to get from catching people off guard with it at the intermediate level. So yeah, that's kind of it for the intermediate side of things. At this level, you don't need to worry about like frame data and stuff too much, like what kind of the gaps from certain things are. I'll get into that more in the advanced section, but I guess it could go in this section, but let me talk a little more about the advanced section of things, because this is kind of the advice I would give. This might be the longest. So, the advanced section. First thing, and this isn't, okay, so for playing Sin, you need to learn how to IB and IBFD. It's so needed. Sin is pretty bad versus spacing traps, and due to his stubbier normals, you need to IB so the opponent ends their, is obviously closer and within range of your P normals, to the point where you're able to mash out of different situations. So that's one of the first things. You need to learn how to IB and IBFD, because a lot of things you can IBFD and then actually, get your turn started. For example, one of them actually versus Kai, right? So this is just one example, right? But you obviously there's other things like I being dire, which I mean I guess all characters want to do that, but you know, for Sin in particular in a lot of different matchups, you need to learn how to IB certain things. And matchup knowledge is huge for this character. He's not like, you know, a Happy Chaos where it feels like every matchup is the same. You kind of just do whatever, right? And you play the neutral the same because you always win the neutral, right? And with Sin, you're at a disadvantage a lot of the times in neutral. So just getting the matchups down is huge. IB of the matchup knowledge. You need to be comfortable playing with lower stamina. So with Sin, you have to be fine. Here's my advice, and this is one of the most important things I'll say. One stamina and no stamina are essentially the same thing. Unless you're in the corner, you're not getting a combo off. Like the only thing like I said earlier, the only thing you get a combo off of is this. In the corner with one stamina. And you have to land the alpha, which a lot of times isn't realistic, right? In this spot. So it's more, you have to treat it the same as no stamina, essentially. You don't get the combo mid-screen, right? You have, in situations where you're one stamina, you just have to mix it up. There's times where you have to do this, right? And just be fine being minus on hit, you know, or maybe here and, you know, maybe they don't expect you to end your turn here. And so you just keep you're minus on hit, but, you know, you can catch them off guard. Stuff like that is really important. Doing this, regardless of how much stamina you have, like, the situation just is not good. Sin, with no stamina and one stamina, his offense is essentially, like, it's useless. It's not good. And at the higher level, you're not going to hit people with this, you know, with this pressure. You know, you have to just be fine giving up your turns at time and playing with lower stamina. Playing the neutral with lower stamina and getting used to that super hyper aggressive playstyle, and then when you hit the low stamina, being very passive until you're able to be comfortable enough to actually enforce, like, you know, what you want to do. Stop blowing stamina. At this level, it becomes very hard to win consistently because stamina is such a struggle to get back a lot of times and actually play around it. Especially, again, like I've said, with the way his neutral is. This is the stage where Sin falls off pretty heavy. You want to think about the situation after your hits. So this doesn't even mean, like, managing your stamina, because like I said, this situation right here is ass. Like, if you have no stamina, or if you have one stamina, like, this situation sucks. It's not good. He's so bad I can't say it enough, he's so bad without stamina and without meter that it just, don't do it. Just simply save the stamina. And this goes for meter as well. In situations, so for example, Sin, one thing about Sin is so post wall break, his safe jump is a knowledge check. You can 6p it, right? It also only safe jumps 10 framers, it doesn't safe jump 9. So versus 9 frame DPs, 9 frame supers, you can't safe jump at all. Versus people that know this safe jump, you can't do it on them since they get 6p. And so essentially, this post wall break situation a lot of the times looks like this. Right? So versus characters with DPs, a lot of times it's not realistic to actually be, like, keeping your turn unless you're hard baiting, which it's essentially like you're guessing, right? And that's also a lot of the times you might want to just save the meter. So what this means is if you do a combo, like let's say you have no stamina, right? Sometimes you might want to think about doing situations like this. So yeah, essentially imagine that situation. I used all my stamina. I had one stamina, I used it, right? And I knew that the post-wall situation would not be good, right? Like I said, you know, no real safe jumps, you know, Kaya's 9-frame reversal. So me running up, I'm essentially just, you know, guessing on his wake up, which for spending everything, like what that now would be without bar, you know, without stamina, and, you know, try to guess on his wake up is just like, no, I'll just save the meter, I'll save the bar that I have, and instead of doing super, I'll just break the wall and, you know, play the neutral from there. Because at least I'll have 50 meter, which is a lot better than using it just to lose on that next interaction, which, because essentially even then, like if you do DP, like you can't actually get your turn, which is fine, because again, at this level, you don't actually want to be doing that. I think that's the next thing. You need to not use the DP funnel. You'd be fine just doing this and taking this situation. Stamina, again, it means too much right now, especially, let's say you have 2, you get knocked down and then you use DP just for you to go into this. And like I'm saying, 1 stamina is essentially no stamina. So if you have 3, you can do this, right? But if you have 2, I don't recommend doing this. It just like, you're just putting yourself in a terrible situation. At this level, versus players that are not just mashing throw and wake up and actually blocking and whatnot, I wouldn't do it. But at the lower levels, the intermediate and the beginner, then go ahead, spend it. Always spend it. Next is, you want to mix up your options and you want to keep them guessing. So what this means is sometimes, for example, if you, let's say you don't have meter to break the wall, you don't want to break the wall, or you know, you want to keep them guessing the situation. So, okay, for example, let's do, a lot of times when people see me, I'll put him to block after first. So sometimes I'll do, sometimes when you see me play, I'll do this. So you can do this, right? Or you can do, so they're thinking they're going to get hit. Oh, sorry. They're thinking they're going to get hit, but then I delay the follow-up. I make them block, I'm +6, and I'm now they're, oh, dang, okay, I have to, you know, kind of keep them on their toes. You got to kind of mix it up. This also goes for, like, I mean, I sometimes do this when I do have 1 stamina, if I do think, like, spending it, right? But this is more of a, like I said, kind of just keep them on their toes. This also goes for, like, for example, if you're doing a combo, right? Let's say, stuff like this, kind of guessing what I'm going to do in this situation. I can just, you know, obviously do this and, you know, get a combo, but most of the time they're thinking, okay, oh, he's going to break the wall, right? No, right? Kind of keep them guessing on what you're going to do next. Situations where you're kind of just playing like Sin, this part is a little harder to describe. It's like you don't want to play the character so like strictly. You want to give yourself some freedom and kind of keep them guessing what's to come next, right? Put them in situations that they haven't been in before to kind of guess on what you're gonna do and make them do a panic option. Because a lot of times when you do take a drop, like you do drop a combo and you take that advantage of that, you know, the post situation, or, you know, you kind of put them in like a situation like this, then they're kind of panicking, they might be holding up, they might be mashing, because they're a little confused on what you're actually gonna do in a situation like that. Where the reward, you know, for kind of resetting them can be pretty good. This also goes for, sometimes you'll see me do a combo, like, let's put him to stand, get hit. So for example, if I get a hit and I do this, like, right, you would expect me to do this. Oop. Right, stuff like this. But in this situation, I could do, oh. Right, and reset them, right? I'm not saying this is always the way to go, but it's something to keep in mind when keeping them on their toes, right? You can kind of just, like, do it, whether your purpose is to save stamina or catch them off guard or, you know, whatever. Yeah, that's just one thing. I guess this also goes for things like Gazelle Step. So not using the raw Gazelle Step, but in, you know, in pressure, for example, due to it being slower, it's a pretty bad, like, before you could kind of do stuff like this. Oh, sorry, not this. Right, this. But due to it being slower now with more recovery, you kind of never, it's too obvious nowadays. So they're always ready for the throw tech. So now what you want to do, or something I guess I've always been doing, is the throw bait. So if they expect that you're going to, you know, go for the Gazelle Step throw, right, ID back JH is the shimmy. So in the situations, right, you do this, they see it, oh, he's gonna go for throw, right, and then you counter hit them. Same thing goes for this. Oop. The combo for this looks like, right, don't spend that last the DP follow-up, but yeah, that's essentially the wall stick. You can also, you know, if you're lazy, you can just do stuff like this. But yeah, there's also that, right? But yeah, this is basically the combo that you will always go into. And then a wall stick, right? And then you have time to do super, and yeah. Let's see. Next, you have to, okay, so last 3 things. I'm not sure if I already mentioned the first one. But card cancels are not needed at this level. The reason why I'm saying card cancels aren't needed is because you need to save your stamina, and with the nerf to Sin during its rework of stamina now costing, card cancels now costing stamina, it's better to just not do them. So, like, for example, you're not going to be doing... Oop. If you're in a situation like this, like, you might as well just always do this. Right? Or do... Oop. Stuff like this, right? Or even... Yeah. You get the point. I don't know why I did the follow-up to RTL there. But yeah, you never want to do like stuff like this anymore. You never want to card cancel and do this, right? It's just not the way to play them anymore. If that means even like you do it like just dropping the combo, like I mentioned, like kind of doing stuff like this, then that's fine, because you don't want to spend the stamina to go into super. You never, realistically, you only want to card cancel if like you get the hit and like, you know, they can burst the combo and you spend it to catch them before they get to use their burst, or you know, they're close to death, any hit will do, and you just do this, right? Yeah, kind of just in to kill situations. You never realistically Kara much anymore, to be honest. Yeah, just I would refrain from simply doing it. Even if you have to do stuff like this, then do stuff like that. Don't do Karas. But in situations like, yeah, with RTL Kara, it's more like if you have to do it to like break the wall, like you just need the positive, then sure, go ahead. But realistically, stay away from Karing as much as you can. Next thing, be comfortable not playing round start. Sin is not a good round start character. He has pretty bad options. So just simply get used to staying back and not being able to win off instantly off round start. Sure, there's some times where you might press 6P or RPS with a far slash, or maybe do 2D or whatnot, or 5K. But realistically, most of the time, you're just like backing off or just sitting there and waiting for a whiff punish. Last thing I will say, this is one of the most important things. Stop using Wild Assault in your pressure. Stop using it. Just stop. If you have to be comfortable at playing low stamina Sin, like I was saying, and taking situations that are not ideal like this, and being fine with it. You can't just do this. Oh, I didn't get the hit. Oh, did he get the hit? Oh, did he get the... Oh, like, just stop. Like, be fine not always hitting the opponent. Stop spending stamina. You need your burst. And also, this is a throwable gap right here. So, and a lot of times you can't actually go into it, like, safely. I mean, obviously, I've seen people do, like, the 5P, with 5P stuff, but just stop using Wild Assault. It's... Only use it if it's like, you need it. Like, he's about to die and you need to do, like, it's literally the last resort. Stamina doesn't come back in, like, if you look at my stamina, it doesn't come back when it like pauses when I put the opponent and hit block stun. Like, it just, stop using it. Save your burst, be cautious, treat it like stamina. It's sacred. Just don't go blowing it. I believe that is everything. I can talk about some of like the gaps, I guess. I went over this kind of in like the Sin counterplay guide, but in case anyone didn't hear it, I guess I'll say it now. I went over how his safe jumps are weak to 9 frame reversals and DPs, 2P into 6H, 7 frame gap, far slash into H normals is a 1 frame gap, 5H in the overhead and low are both 3 frame gaps, 5H into 2H and 5H, or both H normals, and the beak driver without delay is gapless. 2K 2D. Anything off 2K 2D is DPable. 6K is essentially 6K and close slash into specials. So this is gapless. 6K beak is gapless, but close slash and 6K into the overhead and low options are both 5 frame gaps. So 2H, 5 frame gap. 5 frame, 3 frame gap, right? 5 frame gap. Same with the overhead, obviously, same frame data. That's pretty much it. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'm curious to any questions you have about Sin. Maybe if you've watched some of my gameplay and you have questions to why I do certain things, then let me know. I'm happy to answer. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and until next time.